Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. Thank you for being with us again, making us a part of your morning routine here at Western Spring Television on this desk, on this program, Morning Spring, where we talk about the betterment of this great nation called Nigeria. Femi Ojo is my name, and this is the time, for us to have this conversation. We look at headlines from our major dailies, and then we then get talking about these issues. So much to talk about. But then, after a day or two at the sidelines, she's back in the main team right now. Good morning, Evelyn.
Good morning, Femi. How are you doing?
Very well.
Good morning, everyone. It feels great to be back. Welcome on board to Morning Spring. It's a beautiful day right here in the beautiful city of Osogbo, Osun State. Quite foggy a bit, but then it doesn't take away the fact that it is beautiful. And I do hope that it's also a beautiful day wherever it is you are watching us from, anywhere in the world. What we do here is to speak to socio-political issues affecting us as a people, speaking to critical stakeholders, politicians, policymakers, social advocates, so that we can have a better understanding, deeper perspective of the issue at hand. And today will be no different, because we have a burning issue right in our hands that we need to talk about and address. And I'm sure that you, our esteemed viewers, are also looking forward to it. Femi.
Exactly, and that is what we'll do right away. We take this quick break, and when we return, we jet, out. And this is talking about the papers that we have here. We take that flight. So if you are ready, we are. Stay with us. We pick it up right now from the Guardian newspaper. Guardian newspaper, very, busy front page, I must say. Let's start from here. Federal government seeks IMF's help as flooding, oil output crisis dampen outlook. Say that again. Federal government seeks IMF's help as flooding, oil output crisis dampen outlook. And below that, you have these picture, human angle, and the reality of many communities as of now. Students and residents travel via canoes in Ohiolei community, mile 12 of Lagos, after the release of water from the Ohiolei Dam by the Osun River Basin Authority yesterday. This is the reality, and you can see the picture there. Pupils, students being ferried, from one point to the other. We usually talk about, taking precautions, life jackets, and all of these. Yeah, this is not a river, a regular river or a pond, but then we have a body of water due to the release of that particular dam, away from nobody needs to tell you how inconveniencing this will be. Definitely they won't get to school on time. Many of them will be distracted. There is the chance of contracting waterborne diseases and all of these. And even now we are looking at the picture of the teacher, the student and the pupils. How about the teachers themselves? If they live in this community, they will have to go through the same thing. And God knows when the school will open on that particular day. And this is the reality that we have found ourselves as a people. And people doing this as well. This is a brisk business for them, because I'm not sure this is for charity.
Of course,
if they are doing it for charity, that means somebody somewhere has paid.
Yes, but then we should also speak to how it's going to affect the mini economy, that particular area. Right. Now they are making use of canoes to move from one point to another.
Yeah.
What happens to those who are engaged or who engage in motorbike business?
Yeah.
taxi business that ply that route.
Keke,
It means
Korope,
they would have
Marwa.
to, you know,
Pack
pack
it,
it
of
or
course.
go to another area.
Yeah.
But you know how these things work in this part of the world. If you are applying a particular route, you really do not have businesses in another route except you're given that privilege. So for those Okada men, for those tricycle riders, for the taxi riders that apply this route, what will be their fate since the Kenos have taken over? I mean,
Some shops might not be able to even open.
Exactly.
Some who
so it's
cook,
definitely going
who
to have
fry
a
akara on the
ripple
road.
effect
Yeah.
on the economy of that
These are
particular
the
area.
issues as well. Now, moving on, lost billions. Why government's youth empowerment efforts are failing? Lost billions. Why government youth empowerment efforts are failing? Empowerment here and there, politicians from state government, federal government. We used to have the Shopee, we have the UWIN. At some point, it was Empower. Later, okay, I'm not even sure there is anything that we have right now. Okay, maybe a couple of things at the Ministry of Youth and you know, innovations and all of those things. Many of them elitist in nature, but then here we are. How are these things cascading down to the intended demography? These are the issues. And here, Disco's planned meter phase out may worsen Nigeria's 7 million gap as FCCPC intervenes. Again, Disco's planned meter phase out may worsen Nigeria's 7 million gap as FCCPC intervenes. Why? Okay, you know, you could really say if actually, because I think there is a policy that after a number of years, a meter is supposed to be replaced, you know, for efficiency, so that you won't end up cheating yourself or cheating the system, because the workings of that particular meter may have been, you know, compromised and all of that because of the wear and tear and some of these things. Now, the discos are saying they are going to phase out some of those meters. But the thing is, there are some houses that doesn't have meter.
Yeah.
Now, the ones that doesn't have and the ones that have, if the discos are saying the ones that have, we are going to phase the aging ones out and they are not replacing it, I think that's what people are saying. It may worsen it as well, because you might end up taking it off and you're not replacing it. And there are some that have said they have paid for years. They don't have it as well. So who does? Now, when you don't have a meter, there is a way people can always circumvent the system. Either the person, the disco official coming to you, that, you know, they will say, how much do you want to pay? 5,000. Okay, it's okay. Just bring it. And when they bring it, the thing will not get to the system. And the person might keep paying for like 2 years, giving it to the official. The day that guy will be transferred away from that place and they bring another bill, that's why people will end up seeing 201,000, 475,000. They have been paying, but nothing of such is being done. And who bears the consequences? The consumer, either band A or band F or your kind of band, which I don't know. TCN urges calm as 40 cable throws north into darkness. Okay, calm. Nigeria others may lose $10.5 trillion to cybercrime next year. Cybercrime. What are we doing about cybersecurity? These are some of the questions. Probe registry issues. Say that again. Probate registry issues ultimatum over Herbert Wigwe's estate dispute. Is he up to a year already? Not sure.
No, it's not up to a year. It's happened
These
this
issues
year.
are there, you know. All right. Frequent grid collapse, worsening business outlook. I think the jury is out already on that. The federal government and ASU. Can public varsities afford another shutdown? That's a question.
You know, I actually watched the president of ASU yesterday on a program that's in the person of Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, where he said that he was being asked if, you know, this frequent and incessant industrial action by ASU is necessary, especially since it's worsening the education of the students. And he made mention that these incessant strikes is actually strengthening the educational system of the country, because without it, the public varsities would have towed the line of the public primary and secondary schools now. And, you know, a lot of people would have moved over to the private varsities, and the public varsities will be nothing to write home about.
That's for those that can afford it.
Exactly, because the government really is not interested in making the public varsities better. But when they come out to voice out their complaints, when they come out with these actions, industrial actions, then the government sits tight and, you know, does what it's supposed to do so that this system is better.
Okay.
But people might actually fault what he's saying, but to some extent, I think I somewhat agree with him, because
I think it's more like when you don't force the hands of people in government, they won't do what they're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Because we are still talking about agreements from 2009. And this is 2024.
Yeah.
You know, these are the issues that we, and then it's just the issues of government, you know, all this why, not just the Tinubu government, but then it's the man in charge right now. So people are
government is
asking
a
questions.
continuum. Yeah.
Exactly. If you can inherit the asset, you must inherit the liability and do well with it as well. You know, yesterday on the program, we talked about our school children and then the young demography, age 1 to 15. But then there are out of school children in you know, adults as well, because some persons will start university because of one thing or the other. They won't get to finish and they join the pool as well. These are some of the issues. Now, when strike action happens and people are out of the system, young people, active energy out of the system, nobody needs to tell you what the devil does with an idle hand. And that will be all from the Guardian.
Let's move over to the Punch newspaper this morning. On the Punch newspaper, PDP crisis, anti-Damagum plot thickens as NEC meets Thursday. With the rider, PDP governors, NWC, BOT members meet. Fresh legal battle continues on a NEC meeting. And when I thought the PDP crisis, you know, has been put to rest for temporarily, it seems it's a short rest. And, you know, the anti-Damagum plot is still on, and there are a lot of, you know, court suits, court orders, got judgments here and there. We just hope that they can put this to rest and play the part of opposition that, you know, a lot of Nigerians are calling them to be the opposition that they are. But away from that, the Punch also was able to capture what is happening in some communities in Lagos State. Ohiolei Dam, operators under pressure over rising boat demands in flooded communities. And you can see, you know, that canoe moving passengers, residents from one point to another. And one might say, is this canoe overcrowded? I also want to think so. But that's why there is call for, you know, more boats to come on board, more canoes to come on board, so that people, it can aid the transportation of people from point A
and you
to
know,
point B.
this water body is actually on the normal street.
Yeah, the roads.
Actually, So the thing is looking like they are traveling on water, on ocean or something.
I don't think it will be that deep.
Yeah, it won't be, but then we must take precautions because there are drainages there. And when issues like this happen, it might be difficult to actually, the demarcation might actually be thin. So they don't end up in the canal. And you know Lagos, canals here and there.
Yeah, true. All right, away from that, FG bans cooking gas export over rising prices. And one might want to ask, is this the way to go? I think there was a time last year we did this. There was an announcement like this. Is it that we didn't pull through, or, you know, we didn't do what we were supposed to do? But according to the Punch newspaper this morning, this report says the federal government bans cooking gas export over rising prices. Will that actually force the reduction in the prices of cooking gas? Cooking gas, kg now, per kg is 1,500 naira, 1,004, 1,005. Averagely, you know, it depends on your location, but a lot of people are grumbling because that is the money you would use to fill up. I mean, fill up or get a 3 kg. Now you're using it to buy just 1 kg. How Bobrisky spent night in FCID female cell. That's that on Bobrisky is still a man in the eye of the storm as it is now, and a lot is going on with this man.
I'm telling you.
We don't know if it will, you know, end anytime soon. The 250 billion naira debt, telcos seek NCC approval to stop bank transfer services. 250 billion naira debt, telcos seek NCC approval to stop bank transfer services. Top strip, Punch newspaper this morning, Naira for crude. Dangote gets NNPCL's first supply. Good one there. Algae autonomy, FG plans sanctions against defaulting states. FG plans sanctions against defaulting states. Some states have been able to conduct their local government elections. Some are still, in the process of doing that. But it seems the federal government is really bringing up the big hammer against those states who are still defaulting. Nigeria still borrowing amid high debt cost. This is coming from IMF. Nigeria still borrowing amid high debt cost. IMF. And Ondo governorship poll, you see that particular part, that small part on the front page of the Punch newspaper dedicated to the Ondo governorship poll. It was Edo that usually occupied.
Edo corner.
Yeah, that corner. Now it's Ondo. 55,859 PVCs collected. INEC extends exercise to local governments, and no improved infrastructure since LP's exit, says Ebisheni. No improved infrastructure since LP's exit, says Ebisheni. That will be all from the Punch newspaper this morning.
All right, let's move to the Daily Trust. The Daily Trust, the newspaper. Millers, barbers, tailors deplore massive blackout in the north. And these are, the kind of skills or the kind of jobs that has many people, involved in it. Millers, maybe rice millers and the rest of them, or sawmillers, barbers, tailors deplore massive blackout in the north. Power outage grounds business activities. Ministers raises committee to investigate grid collapse. Declare state of emergency in electricity sector. It wouldn't be the best of times for people in that particular place, because if actually now, if you put it particularly down to the customers or the clients, that means people that are supposed to have their materials or their clothes sewn by the weekend, they tell us might not be able to meet up, won't be able to meet up, obviously, except he or she or that company has
an alternative
in this case, let's say generator, and he'll be filling that generator with 1.4, 1.5, and possibly you have agreed a particular fee before. So this is the time where they are supposed to be renegotiation. But the customer will say, I've paid you. How you do the business is not my concern. Or imagine somebody that's supposed to have delivered a month ago and you didn't deliver. Now this has happened and you are going to tell Mr. Bashir and say, Oga, lights no deal. These are the issues. And it's very easy for many artisans to say, Shebi,
Yeah, especially the ones that really haven't done the job.
The ones that will not even do the job. No?
Exactly.
Okay, one day we'll talk about artisans and, what they do.
Their gimmicks.
And what I don't want
Their
to use.
Professional tricks.
I don't want to use the SHEGE word. The things they rub on the faces of their clients, and sometimes you are just angry and you are helpless because you can't do these things yourself. These are some of the issues. Artisans and disappointments. We'll have that conversation one day. And here, and sometimes it looks like possibly when they are an apprentice, possibly they learn that thing as part of the skill set. How to lie, how to disappoint people. These are some of these, with due respect to them, by the way. But these are the things that we see. Hardly will you see an artisan that doesn't have that trait. Now, moving on. Port safety and competitiveness. Right, you have the Minister of the Blue Economy here, former Governor Ohiolei here. I think it's not a sight you see every day that you see him in suit, really. This is one thing, because him with his kaftan and his agbada.
Yeah.
But then, away from that, IMF downgrades Nigeria's growth prospect to 2.9%. All through last week, it was World Bank. this week we have kicked off with the IMF, Bretton Woods institution. What? Let me ask, Kilefe, what do people want?
I know some Nigerians think that the IMF and the World Bank are the weapons fashioned against Nigeria as a country. And some people are of the opinion that these institutions, even where they are located, you know, the countries in which they are located, they are not even making use of some of their advice and some of their counsel.
And some of the things they sermonize us with and preach against, they do it right there. But they tell you to, you know, you can't afford this thing, pull it off, pull out your help and focus it on this particular place. And this is what we are seeing.
And you know, some people are of the opinion that there's no country that has gone with the counsel and advice of these institutions that
and they are
actually
doing well.
Exactly. So why is Nigeria taking up what they are giving us?
Well,
line and single?
while I want to think maybe that's true, one would say is generally the way we say it here, that IMF will stay and World Bank will stay, and our people go and say borrow us money. So when you, even with all these things, you read the paper earlier why the IMF are saying Nigerians are neck deep in debt, and they are still borrowing. Is it not the same IMF that's still borrowing the Nigeria? Like, you they owe, but we are still collect. These are some of the issues we are seeing. You know, if you didn't go to them, they can say whatever they want to do. To advise is okay, is good, but you taking the advice is another thing. Although many persons will say maybe there are underhand dealings and why these Bretton Woods institutions always think they have, you know, that voice to always speak about how we should run our country.
They have the money.
They have the money is because you're always going to borrow the money. Really. To a Nigeria with a natural, it's not because they have the money, it's because you're always going there to borrow. Hold on.
Femi, for every society,
it's not because they have the,
wait now.
It's not because they have the money only. It's because they have the money and we're always going there to borrow the money.
And for every society, even among humans, there's always this creditor-debtor relationship.
Yes, we know.
You always want to seek credit facilities, especially for things you really need, but you cannot afford at the time. So I do not fault the fact that we actually go there to borrow, but it's because we have not, as a country, we have not been responsible with our borrowings, and we have not been, you know, pumping them into the right things we're supposed to be pumping them into and getting the right results. So
I want to agree a bit, but then to borrow is not an issue. Possibly US has the biggest debt body, but you know, but then as compared to what, these are the issues. But then when it appears, I think this is the issue for me. When it appears like you can't run a country without consulting these people. That's the issue there. Yes, to borrow is not an issue, but it appears like these people know that whatever English you people speak, you will always come to borrow. And these are some of the issues. There are the sukuk, whatever, Chinese loans and all of kind of loans. And these are some of the things that people are talking about. But then, World Bank last week, IMF this week. Who owns next week? Okay, we'll move. Maybe it will be Chinese loans. All right, and murder, sons shot as hoodlums attack FCDA director's department. Very, very sad situation. Family been shot there, mother and sons. New chapter begins, says Farouk Lawan, after leaving Kuje prison. Court halt Kano local government polls, dissolves electoral commission. Sad one, 19 die in Plateau auto crash. Sad one, sad one. Nigeria-Libya saga, CAF may decide case today. We wait. Tinubu to Nigerians, buy petrol at 1K per litre or CNG at 200 naira per litre. The choice is yours.
I really don't know what to make of this statement because, I mean...
I like to see the detail, actually.
Yeah, but you're giving
Tinubu
options.
to Nigerians, buy petrol at 1K per litre. It's not even 1K. That thing is not correct.
Yeah, it's not
1K.
It's about
or
1,000.
CNG at 200 naira per meter. So,
how many cars are CNG enabled? I mean, I know that some states like Lagos have some CNG powered buses, but how many and how many can it cater for when it comes to, you know, transporting residents, citizens from one place to another?
And are these conversions, are they free?
So just imagine everyone wants to enter into a CNG bus because it's cheaper. Imagine the kind of stampede we are going to have. So
for that kind of bus.
Exactly. I don't see, if you want people to actually go for CNG powered vehicles, then make the conversion very accessible, available in all the states, and affordable to the people.
Yeah.
I'm sure people will not want to pay more
Yeah.
just because they want a petrol-powered vehicle.
As
Even
Nigerians,
if it's water-powered.
Yeah.
Nobody cares
Whatever
if it's
works.
powered
Yeah.
by air.
By air, yeah.
Just want something affordable, want something that is accessible,
Safe.
and want something that is available and safe.
Yeah.
So,
very well.
I mean, it is what it is. And I
It
think
is
the
what it
government
is,
should actually
really.
look into that.
And one of the headlines I took earlier said, new chapter begins, says Farouk Lawan. I hope you remember Farouk Lawan, the House of Rep member, that was jailed for collecting bribe, the Otedela issue. And after some years, he's back, in town. Well, life always gives another chance. If you're lucky, that will be all from the front page of the Daily Sport today. We take this quick break, and when we return, we talk about something that will interest you. Stay with us.